Oh, I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. The fraud under the most spineless, weakest, emasculated playboy dum-dum, Tim Walz, and representative mentally Ilhan Omar. It just gets worse and worse. Wait till you hear this whistleblower who used to be a TSA agent. Wait till you hear what she says. She saw Somalis actually get through the security clearance checkpoint and onto airplanes in Minnesota on American soil. It is monumental. Also, I have a huge breakthrough. The Department of Homeland Security actually coming with receipts and saying mentally Ilhan Omar did in fact marry her brother. I can't wait to share that with you, as well as another Somali refugee giving a confession. But first, we have to, I got so much to share with you. But first, we have to share this live breaking news. We had a major tragedy in Syria where U.S. soldiers and one citizen were ambushed earlier today. And here is President Trump's response. Check this out. President Trump is on his way to the Army-Navy game happening later today. And he posted this: "We mourn the loss of 3 great American patriots in Syria, 2 soldiers and 1 civilian interpreter. Likewise, we pray for the 3 injured soldiers who, it has just been confirmed, are doing well." This was an ISIS attack against the United States and Syria in a very dangerous part of Syria that is not fully controlled by them. The president of Syria, Ahmed al-Sharaa, is extremely angry and disturbed by this attack. There will be very serious retaliation. Thank you for this attention to this. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America. Boy, I could see them doing something like this under weak leadership like Biden, but these guys are playing with fire because this America First cabinet and administration does not play around. Pete Hegseth, you've got Trump, you've got Marco Rubio. These guys are not playing around. So this, when Trump says there's going to be hell to pay, there's going to be hell to pay. I can't wait to get your comments on this. On just a quick molecule of levity, President Trump commented, he keeps getting this question: who do you want to win between Army and Navy? This was his response. Said, "Getting ready to land at Fort McHenry for my short drive to the Army-Navy game. Everyone is asking, who am I supporting, Army or Navy? My answer is, quote, you must be joking if you think I'm going to give you that answer." President Donald Trump. Are you kidding me? I can't give that answer away. What I want you to do as your president is to watch Professor Nez, because quite frankly, he's the best guy out there, right? He's a good-looking guy. He's a smart guy. Me and Melania, we watch him every night because he's good and he's smart. Thank you, Mr. President. I love you. I haven't done a Trump impression in a while, so I know some of you don't like it. I love it. I'm having fun. It's my channel. It's my show. And if you don't like it, hasta la pasta. But I know a lot of you do. Okay, check this out. The Department of Homeland Security just posted this with receipt. Newly revealed documents show Ilhan Omar wed Ahmed Elmi, who some say shares her dad's name and family ties while still married to another man, all to sneak Elmi into the U.S. Now, this has been conjecture. This has been a lot of speculation happening, but this is the first time that an official government entity has posted this. So it kind of brings a lot of heaviness to this. I mean, she's always shot it down as absurd, but with Trump back in charge, Border Czar's Tom Homan's not messing around. He said, quote, "I've asked for eyes on Ilhan Omar's marriage." You know, I did that video with Border Patrol Commander Greg Bovino saying it would be my honor. I can't wait to put handcuffs on her. The Free Beacon website is saying that their investigation goes, quote, "proves beyond a reasonable doubt." This hits as Omar's Somali roots and path to citizenship get fresh scrutiny. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, my fellow Americans, my fellow global citizens, if fraud is confirmed, and if the Department of Homeland Security releases this, they wouldn't just release it haphazardly or capriciously. If fraud is confirmed, it could trigger deportation. Yep, you guessed it. And her time in Congress. She hates America. I'm all for this. She never loved America. She said some people did some things regarding the greatest terrorist attack on American soil since 1941's, which we just had the anniversary, December 7th, 1941, with the Pearl Harbor attack. I've never felt pride for America. I've never felt even an iota of love for this country permeating off her being whenever she speaks, whenever she talks. So if you're with me on that, if you can't wait to see this villain get deported, give me a huge yeah in the comments down below. And when you hear what this whistleblower says, this just to me confirms everything. You know, it was first indicated that it perhaps was $1 billion of fraud that happened under Tampon Tim. It has now reached multiple billions. They still are uncovering more and more fraud as it unfurls as I speak. And just to kind of paint you a little bit of a picture, this is some data that I've uncovered, which you can see by this chart and graph, welfare use rates in Minnesota by household. You'll see that the light pink or the lighter color is native households, while the darker graphs are Somali immigrant households being the darkest. And then the gray, the sort of grayish bar graph is Somali immigrant households who've been here 10 years or more in the US. Look at the discrepancy. Any welfare, you've got 21% natives, while the rest goes to Somali immigrants. Look at cash, look at food stamps, look at Medicaid. Food stamps only 7%, ladies and gentlemen. Wait, it gets even worse. Here is a graph that shows welfare use rates in Minnesota by households with children. In the same color-coded graphs, you'll see the lighter ones are much far less than Somali immigrant households with children, and even those who've been in here 10 years or greater. This is the biggest fraud in American history, and we've got the best administration to uncover this, to prosecute this, to imprison these people and deport these people. And again, if you're with me, give me a huge yeah in the comments. You know your boy Nez always brings the receipts, and if that doesn't shock you, I don't know what will. Well, maybe this will. Check out this bombshell. A former Minneapolis TSA agent confirms she saw suitcases filled with millions with an M, of dollars of cash. And they were always Somali men traveling in pairs. Watch.
This sounds like something out of a spy movie. People going through security and getting on planes with suitcases filled with millions of dollars in cash. Tell us what you've actually seen as a TSA agent during the time you worked there.
Well, I've actually seen a lot of things, but the most shocking is exactly that. I saw suitcases filled with millions of dollars of cash, and the couriers were always Somali men traveling in pairs. And they got through the checkpoint. It just really absolutely blew my mind the first time you open a suitcase and you see millions of dollars of cash. And typically what would happen is a Leo or a law enforcement officer would come, check their credentials. I don't know what kind of questions they asked them, but their IDs were always documented, and probably their plane tickets as well. So there is a trail of that out there. And I would believe with all the cameras at the airport that if they started there, they could probably find each and every individual that brought money through the checkpoint.
Why did you want to come forward and share your story?
Because I think Minnesotans need to know that billions of dollars left through the airport. And it was cash. It was literally suitcases full of cash.
Even fraud in Minnesota is now making national headlines. It still seems, though, like elected officials aren't really doing anything about it or trying to ignore it.
It is so frustrating. It was frustrating when I was a TSA agent, and it's certainly frustrating now watching the state's administration doing what they're doing. Walz and Omar, honestly, they should both resign in shame.
After all these heathens, these despicable, soulless mooks, Omar, mentally Ilhan, and Tampon Tim, they attack this administration. They have the audacity to attack our law enforcement officers who experience a 1,200, that's 1,200% increase in violent attacks. A 1,200% increase due to these insidious, mutineer, treasonous, traitor scum. And this guy, even when he's questioned, boy, this Mentally, Ilhan Omar is a piece of garbage. You know, we all know that. There's no doubting that. But this tampon Tim, who is supposed to be a brother from the same soil, who is supposed to be an American, who is supposed to support America, put America first, put its constituents first, is the epitome of who these Democrats are. They are scared to death that they will ever have to face getting a real occupation. And they're so consumed from head to toe with rage and hate, misguided hypnosis. It is a psychosomatic hypnosis of rage directed at Trump because they never, ever got to sit at the cool table or something when they were kids. It goes back. This is like a deeply psychological, morbid disorder that they have, that they're willing to sacrifice you, me, and God bless this woman who came forward, this former TSA agent. You can just feel in her voice the emotion, the pathos, the concern, the deep, desire and patriotic inclination to help her fellow Minnesotans. It's just so unfathomable. I got another clip to share with you. Please let me know what you think in the comments down below. But I've got another clip that I think is just going to shock you. This right here is a Somali refugee who says there's much deeper fraud and abuse in Minnesota than we even know about, which is why we need this video to go viral. Tap the thumbs up, share it with everybody. He said that they told him to refuse to assimilate and get on Section 8 housing. Watch this.
For having me. There are much deeper issues. I've moved into the U.S. And in Maine about 11 years ago, and basically the first question that members of my community asked me which tribe, I belong to, and when I mentioned, so I fell into that category. So there's a deeper tribal rivalry going on in the community, much larger than anybody can actually imagine. And then interestingly enough, even though I spoke very good English, one of the things that I was told to do is go find a discounted housing Section 8, which I didn't know what actually it was, and sign up for all the other community benefits within the government or the state. And my response was, I'm actually here to work and build, basic and become part of the American fabric, which is pretty much what I've been working on for a while. I'm incredibly fascinated by what you're having to say, so much so that I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just want to clarify. So when you felt that pressure and you were told to go join, public welfare programs once you moved here, where was that pressure coming from? Are you saying it's like cultural, like neighborhood, like neighbors telling you this is what you should do? How were you pushed in that direction? Well, it was coming from the community that actually thought that was just a way of life.
Okay, let's just look at the facts here. So this is, with all intents and purposes, the worst fraud ever committed against citizens of the United States of America. You've got a governor who is not taking any responsibility or accountability, is basically blaming Trump. You've got a representative who hates America, a representative who attacks, as well as Tim Walz, law enforcement officials from actually enforcing constitutional federal laws, which is you cannot be here illegally, you cannot vote here if you're illegal, you cannot get free health care and all these benefits, steal housing loans, and God knows what else from actual tax-paying, hardworking, real American citizens. You've got a long lineage of Democratic operatives, administrations who have allowed the invasion of our country, allowed the influx of millions and millions, not thousands, not hundreds of thousands, millions and millions of illegals to come in unvetted, unfettered, no tracking. We have no idea who they are. We have no idea what country they're coming from. We have no idea if they committed crimes, and dumping them in these swing states, dumping them in very strategic areas, and then gaslighting the American people, gaslighting using the media apparatus that backs you and saying, no, you're wrong. None of this is happening. Everything's fine. We're all good. They think we're stupid. And even what's worse than they thinking that we're stupid, they actually think they know better for us than what we do. So They literally are the threat to democracy. They literally are committing a constitutional calamity. This is a constitutional crisis because they're saying, we don't care who you voted for in an open and free election that our founding fathers implicated into the very fabric of our country and the Constitution. We don't care about free and open elections. You chose the wrong guy. You chose the wrong lawmakers and policymakers. You chose the wrong people. So you don't know anything. You don't know better. So we're going to make things happen our own way because we're above the law and we know better. This is called, ladies and gentlemen, besides mutiny, treason, acts of sedition, this is called academic hubris. How many times have I said it? These are academics in sheep's clothing, claiming to be people who care, people who are creative, people who work for the people. It's all BS. And nobody knows this better than myself. Nobody does, because I've worked with them. I know who they are. Deep in the marrow of their soul, I know who they are. This is how they think. And when they get caught red-handed, it's just like take a small example of a narcissistic individual that you're dating, or just a narcissistic individual in general who gets caught red-handed, cheating on their girlfriend, wife, husband, spouse, whatever, and then looking them in the eye and saying, like the song, it wasn't me, that's AI. Wait a minute, I caught you on security camera with my best friend in my apartment. What are you talking about? No, it wasn't me. That's the Democrats to the entire American public. So I need your help. Share this. Tap the thumbs up. It takes you less than a nanosecond. Doesn't cost you anything. And leave a comment down below. Let these people know how you feel. All of these people watch this show. The White House staff, Caroline Leavitt, Stephen Miller, all these representatives, senators, and congressmen, their staff, Newsom's office, they all watch this show. Because this is the best show out there. They all watch this show. Let your voice be heard. Let them know what you think. Leave a comment down below. Let them know I'm an American. I'm a concerned global citizen because we have a great audience from all over the world. What you're doing is wrong. What you're doing is foul. Let them know down below. I can't wait to hear from you. Check out these videos coming up on the screen right here, just in case you missed them. Tap my face right here to subscribe and follow. It doesn't cost you a thing. Turn on the bell. Make sure you never miss out. And as always, may God bless you, and may God bless the USA and all who defend her. I'll see you soon.